Three, two, one. Hello, I'm Lisa Comstock with the Connecticut Center for the Book. Today, I'm delighted to talk with Tochi Onyebuchi, author of Goliath, the book we've selected to represent our state this year for the National Book Festival's Great Reads from Great Places. And he's winner of the 2022 Connecticut Book Awards in the fiction category. Tochi's previous books include Riot Baby, a finalist for the Hugo, Nebula, Locus, and NAACP Image Awards, and winner of the New England Book Award for Fiction, the Ignite Award for Best Novella, and the World Fantasy Award. He has also written The Beasts Made of Night and the War Girl series. His short fiction has appeared in the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy, the year's Best Science Fiction, and elsewhere. His nonfiction includes the book Skinfolk, and has appeared in the New York Times, NPR, and the Harvard Journal of African American Public Policy. He has earned degrees from Yale University, New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, Columbia Law School, and the Paris Institute of Political Studies. He currently resides in Connecticut. Welcome, Tochi.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's delightful to have you. Can't wait to hear the answers to your questions. So, here's some questions for you for the Great Reads from Great Places series. The National Book Festival's theme for this year is Everyone Has a Story. What does this theme mean to you?
I mean, it's been pretty obvious that traditionally, particularly in American storytelling, it has been dominated, whether culturally, professionally, by a certain set of rather homogenous voices or a homogenous demographic, traditionally white and middle class, very often male. But I found throughout my life that some of the people with the most dynamic stories who have had the most to teach me about the variety of the human experience have been people outside of that demographic. My mother, for instance, was a child during the Nigerian Civil War, subsequently lived through military dictatorships, then immigrated to America and had 4 kids. And the older I get and the more I learn about her life, the more I realize that she will always be forever a more dynamic and interesting person than I could ever hope to be. And it's stories like hers, stories that I've heard from countless individuals over the course of my life, have reaffirmed my belief that uh, there is so much out there that we can learn about, uh, not just the breadth and depth of what it means to be human, but how even to go about being a good person. And so that is what that statement, everybody has a story, means to me.
Thank you. Indeed, that is true. Can you share a book that was significant to you growing up and tell us why?
My favorite book of all time, is The Count of Monte Cristo. And I first encountered this book in high school, and uh, it blew me away. It's got swashbuckling, it's got duels, uh, secret identities, buried treasure, literally everything that I could have asked for in a book at that age. And it wasn't until my junior year of high school, during a study abroad trip to France, that I actually discovered Alexandre Dumas was black. It was almost by accident. And more than any words of affirmation that I'd received from my English teachers or any creative writing professors, finding out that the man who authored my favorite book was the same color as me was the strongest validation in the world that I could have ever received, telling me that I could write whatever it is I wanted to write.
An amazing story. It's wonderful. Thank you for that. Um, and lastly, what's your favorite thing about Connecticut?
My favorite thing about Connecticut is how just dynamic it is. It really, if you have questions about how we've arrived at our current age, whether it's politically, socially, economically, the answer to that question resides in Connecticut. Uh, for instance, in the downtown sort of area of the town I grew up in, coincidentally called Constitution Square, you will find a driver's edge shingle next to a Chinese restaurant, next to a gun store, next to a spa. That I think tells you everything you need to know about how politically variegated my hometown is. And that I think is true for much of the state at large. It is one of the most fascinating, frustrating, but ultimately beautiful places that I've ever lived in and have had the honor of growing up in.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it. And well, we'll be showing your book, and I don't have a copy. I have a copy right here. Goliath, our representative book for fiction. Thank you so much for your time today. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.